guest now. I'm told that we have Senator Mark Wayne Mullin is joining us. Senator, are you there?
Hey, Jack, how you doing, brother?
Senator, thanks so much for being here. I'd love to get your reaction if possible. I know that you know Charlie and Erica to this news that Erica Kirk will be taking the reins at Turning Point.
Well, I had the privilege of knowing Charlie, very well. Erica, I didn't get the privilege of knowing her like I wanted to. Just met her a few times, but
Of course,
what a perfect individual to carry on her husband's legacy. I think one thing that all you need to see to know the relationship that Erica had with Charlie is when Charlie announced to the world that he was engaged to her, and the look on her face when he walked in saying, I can't do this with you looking at me like this. And she just had this love and this awe about him and who he was. And then to see her strength when she stood up and addressed the world, and you saw the Turning Point USA's chapters just go through the roof of people wanting to be part of it. There's no question that she needed to take the reins, that she was the right person. And Charlie saw strength in her. Charlie loved her. They both had a vision and a love for the outreach, because it was outreach that Charlie had. Charlie reached out to the young people, reached out to the world, preached the gospel, would witness to anyone, was a mentor. And by his side, actually, I would say hand in hand, they did it together. And so this is the right move, and this is the direction that Turning Point is going to go global.
Well, I think that's right, and I haven't really revealed much of what's going on behind the scenes, but I've even been fielding a lot of those requests and messages from overseas, particularly in Europe, but also in Asia, South Korea and Japan, where Charlie held his last couple of stops, as a matter of fact, where people are saying, how do we start turning points over here? How do we do it? How do we get involved? How do we get so actually the organization is going to be even bigger than
right.
when Charlie was at the helm. And I think that Erica is absolutely the person to make sure that whatever comes next, that this organization stays true to those ideals that Charlie built it upon, and to be sure, the entire team is staying on. Everyone who built this thing is behind Erica 100%.
And Jack, this isn't just about Charlie Kirk's legacy. This is to continue the movement. This is to continue what Charlie built. Charlie wouldn't want it about his legacy. He wants to see that the mission that he started, the vision that he started, continues and grow. Because it wasn't too long ago that Charlie, he wanted to be on every campus, high school campus in the United States. I think there's somewhere around 23,000 plus campuses in the United States. And the last time I checked, the last time I saw Andrew put out a message out on X, there was something like 57,000 requests for Turning Point USA chapters. I don't know how many.
That's right, and that number changes by the minute. Senator, I know we only have a couple of minutes with you left. I did want to ask you, we do have news of the day, and I can hear Charlie in my ear saying, Jack, don't forget to ask the senator about the news of the day. So this rule change regarding the president's nominees, many of which have been languishing in terms of confirmation. Talk to us about this new Senate rule change and how important it is.
So what we're doing is restoring the norms of the Senate. The history, Jack, real quick, 98%, actually over 90% of non-essential, which, I mean, they're all essential, but I mean, non-cabinet members, non-judicial members, what we call civilian noms, where over 90% was voice voted since Obama. The first time that didn't happen, or I say previous to Obama, the first time it didn't happen is when Trump was in office. Only 60% of his civilian noms went through. And this is the first time ever in history that not one single person has been able to go through by voice vote or unanimous consent. So Chuck Schumer has went nuclear on the Senate. What we have done now is we said, okay, since you're not going to let the norms continue, we're going to do a rules change. Leader Thune made this very clear at the beginning of Congress. He said we can either do this hard way or we can do this easy way. Chuck Schumer decided to do it the hard way. We're responding to it in probably 15 minutes or within 15 to 30 minutes from right now. We'll do the first in block where we're going to confirm 48 individuals at once for these nominees. We're going to come back later and do 103 on another in block. We will have all the backlog done by the time we get probably mid October, and then we'll be waiting on the president to send us more noms. We will be able to get everybody that he has on the list. As long as that paperwork is done, we'll be able to get them through almost immediately.
Well, Senator, that's incredible. I mean, you look at these nominations and the fact that here we are sitting in September. President Trump made the nominations over a rolling course of weeks at the beginning of the year. That was all the way back in January. I mean, right. It seems inconceivable, I think, to the average American to say, wait a minute, what's the government doing? How's the agenda being worked forward? And they're still having open positions that exist so many months, almost 10 months now into the admin. This is what the people voted for.
Right. Well, but Chuck Schumer, you got to remember what's going through Chuck Schumer, his mind is that the American people got it wrong. I know best. So instead of giving the American people what they chose by saying we want Trump's administration and kick out the bums from the Biden administration, Chuck Schumer is saying you got it wrong. We're going to slow roll this and keep these Biden appointees in place. That's not what the American people want. That's why they kicked the Democrats out of control last November. And 12 months from that election that happened last year, we're going to have President Trump's people in place and continuously putting this country back on track.
And that's what it is, because, of course, going into midterms, we'll start up very soon, the political process, 1/3 the Senate, as it is. It's very simple, I think. And talk to me about this, though, Senator, the idea that that people are saying, you know what, those were the new norm. It's got to get thrown out about the window because these senators, these Democrats, are sitting there trying to hold up the process, and they know they're doing so on purpose.
Yeah, it's about having to go around the obstruction. So many of these people have yes. too much pride in the name being a senator, and they forgot that they're serving the American people. The title means nothing. It means nothing. If you're not doing what's best for America, you are serving yourself. And that is what's happening up here with the old guards like Chuck Schumer that has forgot what his role is. He's to support what the American people chose. American people chose President Trump to lead this country in the direction which is completely opposite to what his radical Democrats did. And instead, he thinks he's more important than the voters of the United States. And so Leader Thune has a different mindset than a lot of other leaders have been up here. He's going, we're going to restore the norms. We're going to get the Senate working for the American people again. And that's exactly what has happened. That hasn't happened quite some time. We've had leaders on both sides that was interested on their direction that they thought America should go to, rather than allowing the American people to choose the agenda, and then we're to carry out the agenda that they chose.
You'd think that would be simple, but as we know, when the power flows from the people to Washington, D.C., suddenly that town, the Beltway up there, has a way of making the simple so much more complex.
It's the way that the Senate is set up. I mean, I feel honored to be in the Senate. It is not my life. That's not what I'm going to do my whole life, but it's an honor to serve. But the way that it is set up, different than the House. The House, you can be a chair of a committee because you get more people to vote for you, and when you're a sophomore, you can become a chair of a committee. The way it works here in the Senate is the longer you sit on the committee, you'll eventually become the chairman. That doesn't mean you're the best person for the position. You just outlived everybody else. When they get there, it becomes territorial. They feel like they've earned it because they've sat there longer than everybody else. And that's when their own personal agenda gets in the way of the American people's agenda. And I'm not throwing any colleagues underneath the bus. It's just that Leader Thune has said now, we're moving a different direction. We're going to work for the American people, and he is doing everything he can to make sure that the Senate works efficiently for the people again. And I am thrilled to be able to be part of it.
That's right. Look, we've got operational control of the border. I think now it's time that we ought to take operational control of the federal government. So thank you, Senator, for your hard work on behalf of the American people, the American voter, the American taxpayer as well. God bless, Senator, and Godspeed.
Jack, thank you, and I'll see you Sunday, brother.